Good morning, students. So today I would be starting with a new chapter, that is the cash flow statement. So let's write down the meaning of cash flow statement. A cash flow statement is a statement showing inflows and outflows of cash during a particular period. So inflow is what? Whatever we receive is an inflow of cash, and whatever we are paying is an outflow of cash. So cash flow statement mainly show the receipts and payment during a particular period. Here the cash will stand for cash and cash equivalent. Many of you might be confused what's the difference between cash and cash equivalent. Cash is mainly the cash in hand or demand drafts, etc. Whereas cash equivalents are those which can be easily converted into cash for a particular period. Usually it is for a very short term, that is say about 3 months. Example for cash equivalents, we can have treasury bills, commercial papers, etc. So let's move on to the uses or advantages of cash flow statement. First one, useful for short-term financial planning. Cash flow statement is very useful for a firm to plan its short-term financial needs. For example, the management can easily know whether it has enough funds to pay its liability or enough fund to meet the expenses. So cash flow statement helps the company or the firm in short-term financial planning. Useful in preparing the cash budget. So what is a cash budget? It is nothing but a projection of a firm for the future needs of cash. So whenever the cash flow statement is prepared in terms of future, it is very useful that in preparing the cash budget because it helps us to know whether we have deficit of cash or surplus of cash. That is, it helps us to know that in which months we can pay our liabilities or which month we can invest our cash in other sources. Next, comparison with the cash budget. The cash flow statement is usually prepared at the end of the year, but whereas cash budget is mainly prepared at the beginning of the period. So it helps us to compare both the cash budget and cash flow, and it helps us in planning the future needs. Next, study of trend of cash receipts and payables. So the cash flow statement reveals the speed at which the cash is being generated and in the speed where the liabilities have been paid. So it helps the management to know the true position of the cash in future. Next, it explains the deviations of cash from earning. Sometimes what happens, the firm may have a huge profit but may have shortage of cash, and sometimes it may have a loss but it may have huge amount of cash. So cash flow statement helps us to give the reasons for it. Next, helpful in ascertaining cash flow from various activities. Cash flow statement mainly helps us to ascertain the net cash flow from different types of activities, that is the operating activities, investing activities and our financial activities, and it also indicates how much cash is being generated in these activities. Next one, helpful in making dividend decisions. So usually what happens, whenever the firm has declared the dividend, it has to deposit in a separate dividend bank account within 5 days of declaration of dividend. Hence, what happens, the management takes the help of cash flow statement to ascertain the position of cash which is generated from operating activities and which can be used for payment of dividend. Next, test for managerial decisions. It is a general rule that fixed assets should be purchased only from the funds which is raised by our shares, debentures, long-term loans, etc. and these should be repaid out of the cash generated from operating activities. Thus, the cash flow statement allows whether the policy has been properly followed by the management or not. Useful to the outsiders. It helps the debenture holders, bankers, lenders, etc. to know the financial position of the company and take proper decisions on the basis of such analysis. Let's move on to the limitations of cash flow statement. First one is, it is not suitable for judging the liquidity. The cash flow statement does not give us a true picture of the liquidity of the firm because the liquidity alone cannot depend on cash, and cash flow statement is only prepared on the basis of cash and cash equivalents. Next, possibility of window dressing. The possibility of window dressing is very high because the cash balance can be easily manipulated by postponing the purchases and other payment, and by rapidly collecting cash before the balance sheet date, as it ignores non-cash transaction. Cash flow statements takes into account only cash and cash equivalents, and all the non-cash transactions has been completely ignored. The position of the firm cannot be declared only on the basis of cash transactions. Next one, it ignores accrual concept of accounting. As cash flow statement is only prepared on the basis of cash transaction, it does not follow the concept of accrual basis of accounts. No substitute for income statement. A cash flow statement is not a substitute of income statement which takes into account both cash and non-cash items. Therefore, the net cash flow does not mean net income of the business. Historical in nature, cash flow statement is mainly prepared on the basis of past years, hence it is historical in nature. Let's go on to classification of cash flows. There are three activities in which our cash flow is generated. That is cash flow from operating activity, cash flow from investing activities, and cash flow from financing activities. First, let's go on to the cash flow from operating activities. Write down. Operating activities are the main revenue generating activities of an enterprise. Full stop. As such, they include cash flow from those transactions and events which enter into the ascertainment of net profit or loss of an enterprise. So last year we all have prepared the trading and profit and loss account. Whatever has been included in a trading and profit and loss account is included in our operating activities. Because operating activities are nothing but what are the day-to-day expenses and losses for our firm. Clear? So some of the examples for operating activities will be receipts from sale of goods, then receipts from debtors, bills receivables, payment for the purchase of goods, payment to creditors and bills payable, payment of salary, wages, insurance, etc. So after you write down this, write down a note. In case of a financial enterprise, such as bank or mutual fund company, cash outflow and cash inflow arising from the purchase and sale of securities will be treated as flows from operating activities. Full stop. This is because purchase and sale of securities is a part of main revenue generating activities in case of financial enterprise. Full stop. In addition, comma, interest paid and interest received as well as dividend received will also be treated as cash flow from operating activity in case of financial enterprise. So what does this mean? In case of financial enterprise, whenever we have purchase sale of securities, it will be treated as a cash flow from operating activities. Reason is because it is their day-to-day work. But in case of a non-financial company, the purchase sale of securities will not be operating activity, but it will be investing activity because it is not a part of their daily routine. Write down next one. Cash flow from investing activities. Investing activities include the purchase and sale of long-term assets such as land, building, plant and machinery, etc. not held for resale. Full stop. Cash flow from investing activities discloses the expenditure incurred for resources intended to generate future income and cash flow. Full stop. So under investing activities, what and all can be included? It will include cash payment to acquire a fixed asset, cash received from sale of fixed asset, then cash payment to acquire share warrants, etc., cash received from the sale of shares, All these will be included in the investing activities. Write down the next one, cash flow from financing activities. Financing activities are activities that result in change in capital and borrowings of an enterprise. So these will usually include cash received from issuing shares, cash received from short-term and long-term borrowing, cash payment for buyback of shares, etc. Apart from the three types of activities, we will have some special items which are needed to calculate our net profit. So write down special items. AS3 has provided for the treatment of some special items as below. First one, interest and dividend. Under that write down cash inflow from interest and dividend and cash outflow on account of interest and dividend should be disclosed separately. Full stop. Cash inflow arising from interest and dividend received should be shown as cash flow from investing activities, whereas cash outflow on account of interest and dividend paid should be shown as cash flow from financing activity. Full stop. So what does it mean? What is inflow and outflow? Inflow is whatever is received, outflow is whatever is paid. So these both inflow and outflow should be disclosed separately in interest and dividend. So cash inflow will be investing activity, whereas cash outflow will be a financing activity. Next, taxes on income. Write down tax paid on income is a part of cash flow from operating activity. Full stop. Hence, tax paid are shown as a deduction under cash flow from operating activity. Next, third one, extraordinary items. Write down cash flow relating to extraordinary item such as bad debts recovered, claims received from insurance company, winning of a lottery, etc. should be disclosed separately by arising from operating, investing or financing activity. Full stop. For example, the amount received from insurance company on account of loss of inventory by fire, earthquake, flood should be reported as cash flow from operating activity. Last one, significant non-cash transactions. Under that write down, there are some investing and financing activities which do not require the use of cash or cash equivalents. Full stop. Such non-cash activities should be excluded from the cash flow statement. Full stop. Examples are the acquisition of assets by issue of debentures or shares, conversion of debentures into shares, etc. Full stop. Such significant non-cash transactions should be disclosed outside the cash flow statement. So these are the special items. Next, write down methods of ascertaining net cash flow. There are two methods, that is direct method and indirect method. In your syllabus, we do not have direct method, so we would be only studying the indirect method. So next, take down format of cash flow statement. First, we will be writing name of the company. Then we have cash flow statement for the year ended. So particulars, and we have two amount column. So first one we would be having a cash flow from operating activities. Under that the first one is net profit before tax. So we need to find out this net profit before tax. And how do we find out? This is how we calculate the net profit before tax. So the first step in the cash flow statement is to calculate net profit before tax, and this is the format for net profit before tax. Write down net profit of the current year. Write the amount. We have to write the amount. Then we have to add transfer to reserves, proposed dividend for the current year, interim dividend paid during the year, provision for tax made during the current year. Next we have to deduct the refund of tax. We will get net profit before tax. So what do you mean by proposed dividend? The dividend which is declared to the shareholders at the current year but is paid at the next year. An interim dividend is a dividend which is paid in between of the financial year. So this is how we find out net profit before tax. After we have found out the net profit before tax, next we have to make adjustments for non-cash and non-operating items. So we need to add a depreciation, preliminary expenses, goodwill, patents, trademarks amortized, interest on long-term borrowing, loss on sale of fixed assets. And then we will be deducting our interest income, dividend income, rental income and profit on sale of fixed assets. So whatever is in the bracket, which means it's a negative figure. So we'll get operating profit before the working capital changes. Next we need to add decrease in current asset, increase in current liabilities. The reason we do this is they will be giving us the comparative statement of 2 years. So whether we have decrease or increase in our current assets and liabilities will be added, and our increase in current asset and decrease in current liabilities will be deducted. Then we'll get cash generated from operations, unless we need to deduct our income tax paid. So we get cash flow from operating activities. This is how we find out the cash flow from operating activities. Next we have to take down cash flow from investing activities. So what and all will be included? It will be sale of tangible fixed assets, sale of intangible fixed assets, sale of non-current investment, interest and dividend received, rent received. And all these are negative because we are purchasing, so money is going out. We would have purchase of tangible fixed asset, purchase of intangible fixed asset, purchase of non-current investment. We get cash flow from investing activities. Next we have cash flow from financing activities, proceeds from issue of shares and debentures, proceeds from long-term borrowings. Then we have proceeds from short-term borrowings. Under that we will have 2. If there is an increase in balance of bank overdraft, it will be positive. But if there is a decrease in balance of bank overdraft, it will be negative. Then we have final dividend paid, interim dividend paid, interest paid on long-term borrowing, repayment of loans, redemption of debentures. We get cash flow from financing activities. Next we get net increase or decrease in cash and cash equivalent, which will be adding our cash flow from operating activities, cash flow from investing activities and cash flow from financing activities. And then we will add our cash and cash equivalent at the beginning of the year, that is the opening cash in hand in the balance sheet, and whatever answer we get should be total to our closing balance sheet. So you should remember the format and know which item would come into operating, investing and financing activities. Let's take down an illustration and classify the following. Classify the following as operating activity, investing activity, financing activity or cash equivalents. So first one is cash sales. Cash sales will be a operating activity. Cash received from trade receivables, again it's a operating activity because it is a day-to-day income. Next, purchase of building is we are investing in a building, so it will be a investing activity. Next, sale of building, we are selling a building, so again it is a investing activity. Issue of share capital or debentures will be a financing activities. Next, buyback of equity share, again it's a financing activity. Dividend paid, financing activity. Interest paid on debentures or long-term loans by finance company or non-finance company. So by a finance company, whenever they are paying interest on debentures or long-term, it will be their operating activity. But for a non-finance company, what will it be? It will be a financing activity. Why? Because for a finance company, it is a day-to-day routine to pay the interest on debentures or long-term loans. Next, cash purchases will be a operating activity. Cash paid to trade payables, again operating activities. Redemption of debentures and preference shares will be a financing activity. Repayment of long-term loan, financing activity. Office expenses will be a operating activity. Selling and distribution expense, operating activity. All these come under a trading and profit and loss account. Whatever is under a trading and profit and loss account will be a operating activity. Manufacturing expenses, again operating activities. Purchase of goodwill, investing activity. Sale of patents, again investing activity. Purchase of investment, is again a investing activity. Sale of investment by finance company or non-finance company. Again, by a finance company, it will be a operating activity. By a non-finance company, it will be a investing activity. Commission and royalty received is a operating activity. Interest received on investment by finance company, non-finance company. Again, by a finance company, it is operating activity, and non-finance company, it is a investing activity. Dividend received on shares. By the finance company, it's an operating activity. Non-finance company, it is an investing activity. Next, rent paid is an operating activity. Rent received if a company's main business is property business. If it is a property business, it will become an operating activity because the rent will be received on a daily basis. If it's some other business, it will be a investing activity. Income tax paid will be a operating activity. Income tax refund received, again operating activity. Bank balance will be cash equivalents. Short-term deposit in bank, again cash equivalents. Investment in short-term or marketable security will be a cash equivalents. Clear? Let's go on to illustration and state with reasons which of the following would be inflow, outflow of cash. So first one is purchase of inventory for cash. So when we are purchasing inventory for cash, what is going out? Cash is going out. So what would it be? It would be outflow. So write down first one, outflow. Reason, cash is decreased by the amount of inventory. Second one, purchase goods for credit. So when we are purchasing the goods for credit, is there any cash transaction happening? No. We are just getting the goods and our creditors are increasing. So it will be no effect because reason is hyphen cash is not affected. Next one, sale of goods costing 10,000 for 12,000 for cash. So we are selling goods, cash is coming in. We sold goods of 10,000 for 12,000. So 2,000 is a profit. So there is inflow. Write the third one, inflow. Cash is increased by 12,000. Next fourth one, sale of goods on credit. There won't be any effect. Write down fourth one, no effect. Hyphen, cash is not affected as it is not a cash transaction. Next, purchase of fixed asset by issue of shares. Again, we are purchasing fixed asset but not by cash. So again, fifth one, write down, no effect. Cash is not affected as it's not a cash transaction. Next, sale of fixed asset at a loss of 5,000. So we sold fixed asset which was 15,000 for 10,000. We had a loss of 5,000. But what is happening? The fixed asset is going out at a loss, but we are getting 10,000. So there is an inflow of 10,000. Cash inflow. So write down sixth one. Inflow. Cash is increased by 10,000. Next, cash received from trade receivable 9,000 and allowed discount 1,000. Again there is inflow of cash because we are receiving cash. So write down inflow. Reason, cash is increased by 9,000. Next, cash paid to trade payables. There is outflow. Why? Because we are paying the cash. So write down outflow hyphen cash is shares issued for cash. It is inflow. Why? Because cash is increased. Next, buyback of equity shares. We are buying the equity shares again, so it is outflow because cash is decreasing. Next, issue of fully paid bonus shares. There is no effect. Write down cash is not affected. It is capitalization of profit. Bonus shares are capitalization of profit. Next, writing of bad debts against the provision of doubtful debts. Again there is no effect. Write down no effect. Cash is not affected as it's not a cash transaction. So why is it not a cash transaction? See, for example, there were bad debts of 5,000. They have not paid us. So we are writing it off. So is our cash affected anyway? Is the inflow or outflow of cash? No. So it is not a cash transaction. Next, declaration of final dividend. No effect. Write the reason. Cash is not affected because final dividend declared will be paid in the next year. Next, declaration of interim dividend. There will be outflow. Why? Because interim dividend is paid within 5 days of declaration. Write down the reason. Outflow hyphen interim dividend declared is paid within 5 days of declaration. Next, cash deposited into bank. There will be no effect. Write down the reason. Cash and bank both are the parts of cash and cash equivalents. Next, cash withdrawn from bank. Again there won't be any effect because cash and bank are both the parts of cash and cash equivalents. Next, purchase of marketable securities for cash. Again there won't be any effect. Write down the reason. It is merely a conversion of cash into cash equivalents. So our cash is not being affected. Next, sale of current investment for cash at par. Again there won't be any effect because it's a conversion of cash equivalents into cash. So what has happened here? Purchase of marketable securities for cash. We are giving cash and we are getting marketable securities. So from cash we are converting it into cash equivalents. And next we are selling our cash equivalents for cash. So all these are nothing but it is convertible of cash to cash equivalents or cash equivalents to cash, or either they are the part of a cash or cash equivalents. Like for example, cash deposited into bank. This is also our cash is also cash in hand is cash and cash at bank is also a cash equivalents. So we shall continue and start the problems in the next class. Thank you.